everybody? It's your 5-star realtor, Joshua Ingram, partnered with Page Properties team, brokered by EXP. We have a special guest on our podcast called the Dream Builders Podcast, Dr. Teki. How you doing today, Dr. Teki?
Doing great.
Hey, Doctor, how are you?
Hi, Bradford.
Good. Welcome aboard.
Awesome. And remember, this podcast, our mission is to help buyers, sellers, agents, and nonprofits and small businesses connect with the resources and knowledge to achieving their goals. And she is the owner of Elon Vital Medical Spa. So what brought you into this industry, and what lives are you trying to affect going into the industry?
So my background is as a board-certified OBGYN.
Okay.
And I have been doing that for over 25 years. What brought me into the medical spa industry was the fact that I have always kind of been a little bit frustrated with the fact that traditional medicine doesn't always meet the needs of women. And so I found in the regenerative medicine and aesthetic medicine realm some things that were available for women to help with many of the problems that I would see them complaining about, specifically with regards to urinary incontinence and sexual dysfunction.
Okay.
So.
Wow. And can you tell us some of the benefits of the non-surgical procedures you do?
So one is, the primary benefit is that it's non-surgical.
Yeah.
And so what that means is the client that is experiencing many of the procedures that I go through doesn't have to take time off of work, doesn't have for recovery, doesn't have to take time off for taking care of their family. And oftentimes that time can be as much as 6 to 8 weeks when it's a surgical procedure. And so here they can go back to work the next day.
Yeah, and who knows what other complications come about with surgery.
Right.
For sure.
Right. Exactly.
For sure. And also, do your clients, or well, you don't call them patients, you call them, what again, partners?
I call them clients, but
Okay.
yes, I do partner with them in trying to achieve good outcomes for them. And I call them clients because when we think of patients, we think of somebody who has a problem.
Yeah.
And they're not always happy to see the doctor. In this case, most of the times, people are really happy to come to see me, and I feel like I have invested in them and I partner with them for a good outcome. And so they walk out being relieved and happy, and it's always a good relationship that we have.
For sure. Can you share us exciting, memorable with a client, like a success story, when they're using your products or services?
So one of them that stands out the most in my mind was a woman who a few years ago was coming to me because she had some significant urinary incontinence issues.
Okay.
So leaking of urine, and that's something that can happen with age. As they have completed childbearing, they may start experiencing some of that as well. So she was having to change her clothes several times throughout the day.
Oh, wow.
8 to 10 times a day she had to change clothes, and her laundry was horrible and things like that. And she lived about an hour and a half away from me, and she told me that on the drive up, she would be looking for bushes that she could hide behind to even go to the bathroom and things like that. And so we had developed a plan for her in terms of taking care of her. And after a few months, she said, I don't feel like I have to do those things anymore. I don't have as much laundry to do. I don't have to be worried about stopping to pee along the way. And so I really feel good about myself now. I can go out and I can enjoy doing things.
Yeah, that's a game changer in people's lives.
It totally was.
We take for granted when our functions work correctly, and just kind of assume that's all it's going to be. And then when we get older, we kind of write stuff off to age. And really, the what's going on in regenerative medicine right now is pretty impressive for everybody, but it's amazing what can be done.
Yep.
Are you able to tell us anything about the procedures, or what kind of formulas you use, or how does that all?
So there are two different procedures that I pretty much use with in terms of to help with urinary incontinence. And one of the procedures is actually very simple because it utilizes your own healing power, and that is drawing blood from a person and then re-injecting that blood after spitting it down in that same person. And so they don't have side effects from it because it's their own blood.
Right.
What it does is, in terms of with urinary incontinence procedures, it actually helps to build collagen in the area that it's injected in, and that blood can be used for other procedures as well, for like skin rejuvenation as well, or hair restoration. So what you find is that somebody's blood has multiple potentials depending on where it's used. The other procedure that I will do for urinary incontinence is to use radiofrequency energy, which is a type of energy, and what it does is, once again, it helps to stimulate collagen in that area. I always tell patients that it's very important that they have a really good collagen source. And so we talk about what their collagen supplements might be as well, because when they're investing in procedures like this, they want to make sure that they have the building blocks to be able to sustain the procedures.
Okay.
So.
And how long does the procedure usually take?
So the procedure could take as little as an hour to do, but it really depends on which procedure you're choosing to do and why we're doing it.
For sure. And how quick is your onboarding process to get clients through?
So it always starts with an initial consultation.
Okay.
You know, so that we can understand what the health history is and what the background is in terms of their problem. Then once they have talked to me about that consultation is usually an hour.
Okay.
So it's very in depth, and it's we go over all of the medications that they may be on as well, and things that might interfere potentially with the various procedures. But then I devise a plan for them as to how we would go about fixing their procedure, and then we get them started on it, as soon as they want to get started on it, really.
And I know that we talked about urinary cognitive, right?
Incontinence.
Incontinence, sorry. But
He hasn't had to deal with the problem.
But it does make us forget about our other issues if we have this problem.
So let's kind of jump topics here
Yes.
with the unique rejuvenated for ethnic skin tones, or what is it called?
Skin rejuvenation.
Skin rejuvenation. That's what I meant. Yes.
Yes.
So can you go more into detail with that, on how you got started with that service as well?
Well, so I myself am a person of color, and so I have found that there are certain things that I experience, as well as family members have experienced, that are not necessarily always addressed and in the medical world. And so, specifically with people of color, we experience things like hyperpigmentation. Anybody can have melasma, and that's something sometimes that is kind of hormonally related for women. And so some of the techniques that I use in my office actually help with those specific skin conditions that are hard to treat. So it doesn't necessarily involve medications. It's actually a radiofrequency microneedling device. There's lots of things that help with skin rejuvenation out there. Some of them have downtime. Some of them do not. And radiofrequency microneedling does not have a lot of downtime. One of the important things is that lasers can make conditions worse for people of color. And so the radiofrequency microneedling, while it doesn't have the downtime, also can be used for all ethnic skin types. So that was one of the reasons why it was so important to me to include that in my spa.
Yeah. And that's really great that you get to actually help people with their dysfunctions, but also actually find a cure for it where they can feel comfortable in the environment that they're in.
Well, yeah, looking better. Everybody wants to look better. And so, we may not see whether or not they leak urine or not, but that affects their confidence. But also looking better in women, losing hair and being able to kind of restore that also affects their confidence. So everything has been geared to kind of restoring confidence for people.
Yeah, any of those things could be a distraction, and anytime you're distracted and you're not focused, you're not going to come off the same, for sure.
For sure. And I know that we did like a one-on-one, and I know that you really are client focused. So what strategies do you use to maintain open communication and trust with your clients through their journey with the procedure and after?
Well, in talking with me, I'm going to ask some in-depth questions. So everything is very personal. We devise unique solutions for them. It's tailor-made for their situation. In terms of follow-up, I usually have follow-up with them to see how they're doing as well. And in my history, I always try to make things right. There are potentially setbacks that may happen for a number of reasons, and so we try to find the right solution for them and try to address those setbacks, how we can improve things for them.
For sure. And before we go, I just want to ask one more question. So what are some of the common misconceptions about the field that you're working in regarding the urinary incontinence?
Yeah.
Yes, that.
There'll be a test after.
Yeah, for sure. And also with the rejuvenate of the skin.
So one of the most common misconceptions, of course, with everybody is that as a physician that we should automatically be taking insurance for this.
Yeah.
And so people kind of get perturbed about the fact that, we're not an insurance-based practice. We are a cash-based practice. The procedures that we do are considered to be basically elective procedures that are done. And then there's the misconception about if it's not reimbursed by insurance, then it might not be good for you.
Yeah.
And what I like to point out to my clients, and what I used to point out to my patients before when I had a practice that I was speaking to them on an outpatient basis, was things like hormones for women are covered by insurance if they're in the pill form, but not if they are in the topical form, which is the better form for women, as to get the topical type form or some other form that doesn't go through the mouth. Whereas that's not, while the better form is not covered by insurance, when you talk about men's health, the testosterone patches and gels and things like that they might apply for a low testosterone condition is covered by insurance. So there's a discrepancy in women's health in terms of what's covered and what is not covered by insurance. And so, we want really for them to be healthy. And unfortunately, at this time in our history, we have to pay the price for it as women. And so, these same procedures are not covered by insurance, but it doesn't mean that they're not good for them. There's successes with these procedures. There's low risks with these procedures, and they're minimally invasive and don't affect their ability to work or take care of their family.
Yeah, so the issues are not with you and what you do. The issues are with the insurance companies.
It is, and it'll take a long time to fight that battle.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, you want your solution now. you know. So.
Well, Dr. Teki, thank you so much for
you.
educating us on what Elon Vital Medical Spa is really about. Last question, how can the people get in touch with you?
So they can reach me by booking an appointment, calling 912-910-9010, or they can book online at Elon Vital Medical Spa. Actually, it's wrong. ElonVitalMedSpa.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Teki with Elon Vital Medical Spa. Again, this podcast is sponsored by Real Estate for a Reason, Page Properties Team, TheDream E.N.T, and Make Real Estate Fun Again. Thank you so much for educating us on different injections to get the skin better. Also helping us to say if we got urinary problems or anything outside that may be causing problems, get with a doctor.
Or sexual dysfunction in general.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. Hope you have a wonderful day, a fantastic week, and be blessed and catch you in the next episode. Peace.
Bye.